All right, don't worry about it. I can go live right now. I thought you were on the comp, but I'll talk to you later. Yep. Okay, bye. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Landon from the Snap coming at you with a live stream. The Week 15 start sits for your first round of your playoffs. I hope everyone has had a great start to your fantasy day. But yeah, either way, we are good. All right, I was talking to Scotty on the start. We are fine. We're doing good. I hope everyone's having a good week so far. Good morning so far. Welcome in. We got a couple people watching right now. Safik in the chat. Noah in the chat. Griffin, what's going on, Griff? You are an absolute stud. We have Eric here as well. Rolando coming in early as well. It's me going solo. We've got some big news. This has been a crazy week for everyone. So let me know if you have any COVID questionable stuff going on. It's been a crazy week for the guys. Hopefully not, that doesn't affect your team that much. I will get producer Scott back on the phone with me. I just called him before. We've got Mac in the chat as well. He's enjoying a very good Christmas party with my great friends. I will go through the outs of the week. We have Daniel Jones, DeAndre Swift, so some expected to plays. We have Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Daryl Henderson, James Conner coming back, Chase Edmonds, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, Odell Beckham Jr., and Marquis Brown. All of those players expected to play. I think one of the biggest question marks this week is going to be Lamar Jackson. We're not sure what his status is going forward. I'm expecting myself Tyler Huntley to start, so that needs to we need to figure out who is going to be a fantasy asset for the Ravens. Also declared out before it changes on me, we have Elijah Mitchell, Carlos Hyde, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, obviously again, Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins, TJ Hawkinson, and Darren Waller already declared out. Now the TJ Hawkinson, TJ Hawkinson and Darren Waller, the Darren Waller news, we got to figure out because they are playing on Tuesday. I believe Monday or Tuesday. Anyways, he was declared out early in the week. I'm still not expecting him to play. We also have some players for the Browns that we're not sure because their game got postponed. We're not sure if people on the COVID IR list are going to come back from COVID IR. The NFL has gone some new rules and regulations to they're no longer going to test vaccinated players so often. So I don't know what their strategy is. Either way, it's going to be a tricky scenario. Hopefully it doesn't affect too many of y'all. All right, guys, we have Rolando in the chat. Hopefully he's still around. He's been debating all morning, flexing Pollard, Penny, or Gabe Davis, full PPR. And he's also asking if Jeff Wilson is considered in any way startable over Penny. And I will be going with Rashad Penny over Jeff Wilson. We've seen the San Francisco 49ers play Deebo Samuel in the backfield at the goal line. So Rashad Penny got all the work, most of the work last week. The Seahawks seem to want to give Penny the opportunity to prove that he is a startable asset in the NFL and he will get the work. The biggest thing hindering Rashad Penny has been injuries. So now that he's back healthy, he'll get the opportunity to carry the bulk of the workload with Chris Carson still out and Alex Collins being very underwhelming. Rolando, if you're still here, let me know because I'm answering your question. I can answer it again later on. Between Pollard, Penny, Gabe Davis, I'm still going to stick with Rashad Penny over those guys. Pollard is back. He is going to be limited. He's expected to play a limited number of snaps, just enough to vulture Zeke Elliott and render neither of them a league-winning or week-winning asset, most likely. Zeke Elliott's one of those guys that has been he's looked banged up. He looks injured. We're not sure what his status is. Now with Pollard more involved. We're hoping, if anything, that Zeke gets in the end zone 1 or 2 times to give us a good matchup. Eric in the chat. Eric is a YouTube member. Thanks for coming by, Eric. We appreciate you. Waiting in line outside at minus 13 Celsius for my booster shot. Got it locked in. Snap Army live stream. Thank you, sir, for coming by. Congratulations on your booster shot. I will be getting mine probably this week. Pilone, what's going on, buddy? Hopefully you're still around. He has a PPR league, Parker or Mooney. I'm going to go with Javonte Parker. I think Parker is in a great spot this week. As far as your defensive question, Bills or 49ers, I've got the Bills. I think the Bills are in a really good spot this week, and I would prefer them over the 49ers. 49ers have a few pieces out in their secondary, so it could be a very good game versus Atlanta, potentially. It could be a bit of a shootout for the 49ers, even though their pass rush is great. Griffin in the chat. I appreciate Griffin coming in, as always. He's been sharing out our podcast. We had a fun episode with producer Scott involved as well, where we went through the regular season awards. So we went with the fantasy players of the week at each positions: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. And then we did the bust of the year. We did the waiver wire out of the year, the steal of the draft. It was a really fun show. I hope y'all tune in. So it's one of those podcasts that will last for many weeks to come. So I recommend everyone who's watching, listening, to check out the podcast. We're also giving away a Clyde Edwards-Helaire jersey to one lucky winner of our listening group. So the only thing you need to do is go on to Apple Podcasts, if you have it, and leave a rating review. So if you have already done that, do it again. It doesn't hurt to do it again. Leave your handle, either Instagram or Twitter handle, or however way we can get a hold of you. And I believe it's hashtag Snap21 or SnapArmy21, whatever it is. Leave a hashtag, and you will be put into the draw to win a signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire jersey. Savik is in the chat as well. I need to start 3.5 PPR league. Aaron Jones versus the Ravens. Josh Jacobs versus the Browns. Daryl Henderson versus the Seahawks. David Montgomery versus the Vikings. Savik, I hope you're still around. I do really like those options. My two locked in players have to be David Montgomery and Aaron Jones. David Montgomery, I think, has the best chance to give you a week winning performance. Whereas Aaron Jones, you have a question mark because of A.J. Dillon being so involved with that offense. He had more opportunities on the ground. They ran close to the same amount of routes last week, but Aaron Jones got the targets and the touchdowns. So Aaron Jones could continue his efficiency like crazy, and he will be a great start versus the Ravens. The Ravens defense is banged up. I think Aaron Jones is a great play. However, there's a risk factor involved with A.J. Dillon being involved and getting worked in about half the time. With that being said, I'm still going to start him, and I'm still going to start David Montgomery. Between Josh Jacobs and Daryl Henderson, I'm okay waiting on Daryl Henderson because of how good Sony Michel looked in his absence. I believe coming back from an injury, he's not a must play. So I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs versus the Browns in a postponed game on Tuesday, and hopefully it works, and we'll see what kind of players the Browns have back in that game. But I do think Josh Jacobs gets the bulk and the majority of the carries. So Aaron Jones, Montgomery, and Josh Jacobs. I'm sitting down Daryl Henderson. I want to see it first before he comes back off of his injury. Once he comes back off his injury. Novi, what's going on? Good morning, sir. He's got Zach Ertz and Dalton Schultz at tight end. That's a very, very close one. I'm going to consult my rankings because I believe that's a very tough decision. So my rankings are going to say, let's see here. My rankings are going to put in Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz as my number 6 or tight end versus Detroit. So I think Zach Ertz is your call. No, I think with DeAndre Hopkins out until out for the regular season anyways. out for the fantasy season. I think Zach Ertz will see some work. We haven't seen him get hyper-targeted with Kyler Murray back at quarterback, but I do think he will be a very good option, a high upside play against Detroit. A great matchup. Thank you, Eric. You all caught, if you were here early, you caught a little conversation I had with Scott. I didn't know it recorded before I pressed live, but that's all right. Salim coming in. Good morning, Salim. Thanks for coming by. Make sure everyone to like this video. I'm here by myself grinding. So we have Mac and Scott in the chat. Thanks for coming by, guys. Salim, Amari Cooper or DJ Moore? I am going Amari Cooper, Salim. I think that's a really good matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. I have, let's see, where do I have Amari Cooper? I have Amari Cooper as a top 15 option. I can say the same for DJ Moore. He was banged up in that game, and I just don't trust the quarterback. That's the biggest scenario here. I'm going to trust Dak Prescott over whoever is at quarterback for the Panthers. So Amari Cooper is a super safe option. Hopefully it's a pretty good game against the Giants, and I would be starting Amari Cooper with confidence. Mackenzie Taylor is asking Daryl Henderson, Kyle Pitts, or A.J. Dillon for the flex. And that's a super difficult question. We have we have Daryl Henderson coming off of injury. And for the most part, most of your questions, I'm going to sit down Daryl Henderson unless I need to. It doesn't seem like Mac needs to start Daryl Henderson. The split with him and Sony, I think, will be pretty fair. You have to figure out who's going to be on the goal line work. Is it going to be Daryl or is it going to be Sony? It's hard to say right now. I'm not sure if they're going to limit Daryl's snaps or if there is a chance, a non-0% chance, a decent chance that Daryl Henderson just takes the full workload back. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, it could be the Montgomery and Khalil Herbert scenario. That's in the range of outcomes for Daryl Henderson in a game that they should win pretty handily against the Seahawks, or at least it could be a very competitive game versus the Seahawks. So there's that scenario where Daryl Henderson takes his full workload back like David Montgomery did. Khalil Herbert wasn't involved, and maybe Sony Michel isn't involved again. However, I do think there's a chance that it could be more of a Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon split where they play 50-50, or the Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams split where they play 50-50. So I think it's going to be more of a 60-40 split between Daryl Henderson and Sony Michel. So Kyle Pitts, I think I need to sit down the tight end out of that list. Against San Francisco, I do have him as a fringe top 12 tight end this week. Mac and I discussed our rankings, and you kind of have to put Kyle Pitts in there against a banged up San Francisco secondary. So I think I go A.J. Dillon, Mac. I think I go A.J. Dillon. Hopefully that's where you're leaning. Mac's going to start who he wants. Mac probably has this matchup already locked and loaded because he's got Jonathan Taylor everywhere. So I think I lean A.J. Dillon. I think he's going to get the workload. He's going to get 14 to 19 attempts, including targets. So yeah, I think I go A.J. Dillon. I'm hoping for A.J. Dillon. I think we've talked about this week. Mercado Airwaves Network, always coming by. Mercado, thank you for coming in. Hello everyone. With Lamar probably out, and I agree with you there. Why lean Big Ben over Tannehill? Thanks, friends. Why would you lean Big Ben over Tannehill? The question of the week, Big Ben over Tannehill. Two pocket passing quarterbacks. However, we do see Tannehill sometimes take some of that work in by himself. They play, so they're the same game. I had to remind myself. Pittsburgh plays Tennessee. Both defenses have been giving up quite a bit to both pass and run. Tennessee's defense is a little bit worse. It's more of a defense that I like to target. So I think Big Ben and Tannehill are super close in the rankings. So you say why lean Big Ben over Tannehill? So Ben has the healthy targets. The more he's got Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Pat Freiermuth, Najee Harris, everyone healthy. We see Najee Harris get more work out of the backfield in a check down role, and that's Big Ben's specialty is the check down. So I think that's where, so and the combination of Tennessee has a worse defense than Pittsburgh. Big Ben has more healthy targets. Of course, if Tannehill had Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and big Derrick Henry, that would be a completely different story. But right now we have a Julio Jones that's a shell of his former self, and we have Big Ben with a pretty healthy arsenal of assets. And Big Ben actually has been pretty good lately. So I don't mind either quarterback talent-wise, but I think Big Ben has proven that he's a startable asset lately. Luke, good morning, Luke. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Javonte Parker versus the Jets, or AJ Green versus the Lions. He's got Julio Jones versus the Steelers. I only can pick one. So despite the big name, I'm going to sit down Julio. I mean, they all have big names. AJ Green used to be an absolute stud. AJ Green had a very good game last week. They played the Detroit Lions. The difficulty with the Detroit Lions is that the Cardinals are going to do whatever they want versus them. They can run, they can pass, they can give it to Chase Edmonds, they can give it to Kyler Murray, they can pass it to Christian Kirk if they want to, Zach Ertz. It's not going to be a competitive game where you're going to need to play and force it to AJ Green to the final snap. It's going to be probably backups in the fourth quarter. Most of the fourth quarter could be backups. So maybe Detroit keeps it competitive for some of the game, which could help AJ Green and company, but I doubt it. So AJ Green could have his opportunity. You're going to have to almost get lucky. If he gets the one, that's likely all he's going to get. Getting two will be far-fetched. So his one touchdown game is capped. So Javonte Parker has a good matchup. They play the Jets. Maybe the Jets make it a little bit more competitive, but we're also expecting a rout of the Miami Dolphins over the New York Jets. The Jets are one of the worst teams in the league, but they have Michael Carter and company back. It's too bad they don't have Elijah Moore, but I think I kind of lean Javonte Parker. If I bring up his targets lately, I think they're going to be pretty good. So if I'm going to bring up targets between the two guys, AJ Green, and he had a good game last week, and Javonte Parker, who is now without Jalen Waddle, so should see some. So Javonte Parker had 5 targets, 5 receptions, 62 yards. When he was healthy before, he had 11 targets, 8 receptions for 85 yards, 9, 7, 9. So, I mean, Parker, when healthy, is getting targeted considerably. He's got a good outlook versus the Jets. I think he's going to be the number 1 target. And man, oh man, that's really close. Oh, it's almost a coin flip between the two guys. AJ Green got more targets last week versus the Rams, but that was a fun, competitive, big game. That's the different story between the Cardinals, or the Rams, I guess, versus the Lions. So that's a tough one. Honestly, it's a coin flip between the two. The guy I guess is the most competitive game is Julio Jones. So I lean Parker by a little, AJ Green, and then Julio Jones. Luke, good luck, sir. Man, this is almost gut feeling here. Thanks to everyone for coming in. I do want to preface, now that we have 15 people watching, make sure to like this video if you can. It helps the algorithm. Share it out to your friends. Share it out to Twitter if you want to. We appreciate everyone coming by week in and week out. Week 1 of the playoffs, I'm going to give you my best answers and my best recommendations, but it is a lot to do with the who got you here, who are you willing to trust week in and week out. If you don't trust anyone, that's where I come in, and I can give you where my gut leans and where my projections and my rankings and what they say. But it does matter also if you played against Tyreek Hill, if you played against Hunter Henry last night, or Jonathan Taylor. Some guys have more upside. So like I said, AJ Green I believe he has a 1 touchdown upside with, I would say, 80 yards and a touchdown, which is, good. Of course it's good, but that's his ceiling. Where another player in a more competitive game, like a Chase Claypool, for example, might have more upside, maybe. DK Metcalf, of course. T. Higgins, that could be in a competitive game. Brandon Ayuk, those guys have more upside, in my opinion, because they could be in more competitive games and kind of fighting right till the very end. So It does matter. Give me some context when you're talking about your players. If you need big games, if it doesn't matter, if you need a floor play, I'm going to probably say that when I'm answering your questions. But the playoffs, you can sometimes, if it's a coin flip, you got to go with your gut. If it's you play the players who got you here and sit the players who have busted you and you're here despite them. So that's going to be a little bit of context for you. We have 16 people watching. We have 19 likes. Thank you so much, guys. If you want to win a signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire jersey, the easiest chance you can do it for free, only takes 30 seconds. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Mac has the signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire jersey. We're going to be giving it out championship week. And leave a rating review. Leave an IG handle or Twitter or any kind of handle, how to get a hold of you. And we can do that. Hashtag SnapArmy21. And we will get you figured out to send you that jersey. I'm going to have producer Scott, in my ear for the rest so he can help me figure out some of these start, sit questions you have for me. Maybe Scotty's on Twitter as well, sending people here so he can let me know what's going on with that. It's week 1 of the playoffs. I'm glad everyone's in here. Let's get it. Eric, thank you for waiting patiently. Rough morning so far. Dodged Thursday night players, but Colts couldn't guard Henry last night, so I'm projected to lose. Producer Scott had Hunter Henry started, so he is thrilled about that. Unfortunately, you are not. Got a couple ankle injuries in my standard league. Yeah, I feel that too. That's tough. Like a Miles Sanders maybe. Either way, pick 2, but it can't be both RB because I have Chubb and Fournette, Saquon, Thielen, Javonte, Parker, and Gaskin. All right, so obviously you're starting Chubb and Fournette, no question. And then you've got Saquon, Thielen, Javonte, Parker, and Gaskin. Gaskin has a really good chance to play well this week. He's been a solid player. I'm starting him in a tough league as well, in a positive matchup for the Dolphins. But as far as your others, I'm not expecting Thielen to play. So I'm gonna rule Thielen out of that list as well. So looking at Saquon, Javonte, Parker, and Gaskin. So you're projected to lose. So this contact, Eric, really, really helps. I appreciate that context, that you need a big play because you played against Hunter Henry last night. It was looking good for most of the game, but that guy seems to be a touchdown machine for the Patriots. I would start... Oh, man. So if it can't be 2 running backs, you're starting Javonte Parker, my dude. So that is what it is. So you're starting Javonte Parker as one of those. So between Saquon and Gaskin, that is the grossest debate here because Saquon, for the most part, has been very underwhelming. He hasn't been a very reliable asset. I have him ranked this week as a... where do I have Saquon ranked? No, as a top 12 running back. So, and I don't have Gaskin that high. And I do think that Saquon does provide you more upside. It provides you more of a week-winning week. We know that Saquon can do that. We know it's in him. And against the Dallas Cowboys, they should be using Saquon right till the very end. It should be very competitive for the New York Giants. And so I guess I'm leaning Saquon by a little. But at the end of the day, if you want to trust Gaskin coming off the COVID IR and you think he has a great opportunity, because I do think he does, and because I have to start Javonte Parker, I'd rather not play 2 Dolphins. So there we go. So Javonte and Saquon, Eric, hopefully you're still watching. Hopefully you like my analysis, and we can figure that out because I am not thinking Thielen plays this week. Stuart, thanks for coming in. Evening again. It's evening for you. Happy holidays. After getting burned with Stevenson last night, I've got to make my last RB spot count, and my options are thin: Sanders, Dillon, or Gibson. Holy Stuart, you're making this difficult on me. Hopefully you're still watching and here. Man, oh man. So Miles Sanders is an interesting spot. He's got a good matchup against the Washington football team. However, he's coming off that ankle. So I'm fine benching Sanders this week. I need to start him, but I have no other choice, my dude. I've got DeAndre Swift, and I had Damian Harris, who was out last night. So between Gibson and Dillon, I do think that despite my love for A.J. Dillon, I think you still have to go with Antonio Gibson in a pretty tough matchup against the the Eagles, but I agree that he will get more opportunities than AJ Dillon. Now, you've been burned by Gibson recently, and I feel ya. I don't want to get burned by him again, but I think he does have the biggest upside because it seems like you need that. Now, the chances of you getting burned by him again are high, Stuart. They're high. We know the issues and the trials and tribulations of some of these players. I got burned by Miles Sanders many, many times, and I got to go back to him again because I have no other choice. AJ Dillon's going to give you a safer floor. He's going to give you 14 attempts on the ground, probably no receptions, but he could get a couple. But we have the vulture of Aaron Jones that likely could happen. It could happen the reverse way as well. AJ Dillon could absolutely get a touchdown or two if he vultures Aaron Jones. So I would go Gibson for the big game, the big potential. He could put up 20 points. We've seen that before. Rolando. I'm second guessing. Here's who's a better start than Gallup. All right. He's got Gabe Davis or Lazard, full PPR. I'm going Gallup in that scenario. I'm going to stick with Gallup. Gabe Davis is in a good spot, I understand, but I do think Cole Beasley is going to get a lot of work, and producer Scott is now going to be happy I'm saying this. I think Cole Beasley could be the guy to own. Gabe Davis has gotten the touchdowns, but I think Cole Beasley is going to have a really good game this week, getting up the middle for the Dallas Cowboys versus Carolina, or the Buffalo Bills versus Carolina. Lazard I can't trust. Full PPR. I'm going Gallup, Rolando. I'm going Gallup. Thundarius, welcome in, Thundarius. He's a Snap Army member. I appreciate you coming by. He wasn't going to make it, but he did indeed. So he's still on the fence. He's got Ayuk, Parker, Claypool in the flex. Hope your morning's going well. Thank you. My morning is, and he's going to go see Spider-Man. Oh, good luck. I hope you enjoy that. I'd like to go. I need to go see some movies, guys. I still need to go see Dune, James Bond. I'd love to see Spider-Man. I'm a big Marvel guy. So, and Thundarius, it's to clarify, it's for both flex spots. So 2 flex spots. I'll just rank the guys. I do like Ayuk this week. I ranked him fairly high in my rankings. I think he's in a good spot, especially with Deebo Samuel likely in the backfield quite a bit. But Parker and Claypool are in good spots, man. This is one of the toughest questions because I think they're all in very good spots. Claypool, I know a lot of fantasy analysts really like Claypool this week. He has burned me before many times, but he does have the big game in him. And that Tennessee-Pittsburgh game could be very competitive, so it could lead to some targets for Claypool. You might be waiting on those big plays, and if those big plays pan out, Claypool is going to be the best option. Whereas Parker and Ayuk will rely a little bit more on targets, Thundarius. So you're looking for big plays, probably 6 to 7 targets for Claypool, 4 receptions maybe, and they got to go for, combine those 4 receptions, Thundarius, need to go for 80 to 100 yards and a touchdown. So that could happen. I could see Javonte Parker or Ayuk, neither of those guys amounting to those amount of yards, but they'll be a considered safer option in a PPR matchup. Ayuk got lucky last week in overtime with that touchdown. He disappeared for most of that game, but I do think he presents a little bit of a safer option this week for some reason. And Parker, I think, will get the target. So that's the scenario. That's how I see those 3 players. Thundarius, hopefully I helped you, didn't hurt you. If my argument resonated at all with you for either one, let me know who you're going to go with. Enjoy Spider-Man. I think I would rather watch Spider-Man than watch and sit and pull my hair out watching football this week. So that's how I feel. Hopefully, if you're here watching and you might be out of the playoffs, so you're up against it, let me know, because I feel like my teams are defeated already before they even play. But you know what? That's all right. I'm still here helping out. I'm still here enjoying the grind for everyone to watch and see, and that's kind of why we play fantasy football, right? Not only to rub it in our friends' faces when we beat their teams. All right, Salim. My 2 receivers and flex, Devontae Parker, Ayuk, Amari Cooper. Do I play Jeff Wilson or Odell or over any of them? No, I do not. Odell has been good. He's on a touchdown like he has 3-4 touchdowns in a row. Since he's been with the Rams, he's scoring a touchdown every single game. Odell's great, but I think you still go with Devontae Parker, Ayuk, and Cooper. It's close. Odell is a tough one. After going on the IR, we all thought he was out, and now he's going to play. It's a kind of a coin flip between, say, Odell and Ayuk, maybe? All right, Brandon Phillips. What's going on, Brandon? Thanks for coming in. He's got Mike Evans, Antonio Gibson, or Javonte Williams. Also, Andrews or Gronk. Wow, that's a pretty good lineup, Brandon. You are, no wonder you're in the fantasy playoffs. We can figure this out together. It's a full PPR league. I think you have to start Mike Evans. Mike Evans has the biggest ceiling out of everyone. He could get 3 touchdowns by himself from Tom Brady. That doesn't always happen, but hey, that's in his range of outcomes. So between Antonio Gibson or Javonte Williams, although I love Javonte Williams and I'm relying on him to have me a week winning performance, I think, oh man, Antonio Gibson, if you don't want to get burnt again by Gibson, because he had a terrible game last week, like they're pretty much, I have Gibson as my 15th ranked running back and Javonte as my 17th. So Antonio's going to get more opportunities. He's going to get more carries, probably more targets than Javonte, but Javonte is a absolute tackle breaking machine. Now, if Melvin Gordon gets 60% of the work like he did last week, that ain't good. But that still could lead to a pretty good Javonte Williams 15, 18 point performance because just how good and efficient he is. Whereas Gibson's going to get probably 20 plus opportunities and touches, but he's been very inefficient at that. He looks banged up. He doesn't look great. So it's going to be volume over efficiency, my dude. If Gibson gets in the end zone, it's going to be Gibson that scores more fantasy points. If he doesn't, he could be very disappointing versus the Philadelphia defense. So as far as Andrews or Gronk, I think I lean Gronk this week. Which is wild to think because Andrews likely has Tyler Huntley as his quarterback. And although he was efficient with Huntley, I'm going Gronk. Gronk is my tight end 3. I completely understand if you cannot physically press that sit button over Mark Andrews because he was the number 1 tight end on the year. Now with Travis Kelce having that monster performance, he won't be anymore, but he's basically number 2. But fantasy points per game, Gronk has been there. Gronk has been right there with the best of them. So I lean Gronk against New Orleans versus Mark Andrews. But crazy, my dude. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Shino, Stafford or Murray? Oh, I think I'm going Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is my number 1 quarterback on the week. Hopefully y'all enjoyed some of the ranking videos we did. This week. They've done pretty well for the most part. People love their defensive rankings. It's funny how wide receiver rankings don't do that well, but defense rankings do. So, that's how she goes. I'll be doing that probably now every week if we have time. Now that the fantasy playoffs and a lot of y'all are tuned in and need the rankings each week. So we'll likely do these ranking videos every single week. I do want to say thanks for coming by, guys. We have 12 or 13 people in the chat. Make sure to like this video if you can. We have Claire, as always, in. Thanks for coming by, Claire. TTJH, he's in all of the comments on our YouTube. So thanks for coming by, TT. Appreciate you. Brian, thanks for coming by. And April, Stuart, Kyle, all these guys in the chat and gals. Daniel, thanks for coming by, everyone. I will get to your question, but it's just me today. Me grinding it out. Hopefully y'all enjoy. I'm going to move my camera just a hair. Hopefully y'all enjoy and are doing a good in your fantasy playoffs. And if you're not here, and if you're here despite not being in the fantasy playoffs, hey, that's even better. We appreciate you coming by, hanging out on a very nice Sunday in December. And happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully you have some time to spend with your family and friends. All right. So, Shino B. Going Murray. You can't, but both great options. I'm going Kyler Murray. Brandon, pick 3 from this group. Full PPR. Saquon, Henderson, Gaskin, Gibson, Javonte Williams, pick 3. So I'm going to sit Henderson coming back. There's a absolute chance that he takes back his backfield and he's a league winner like we thought he was going to be before he got hurt. Oh, that didn't work well, and I can see that. Before he got hurt, but I'm not going to play him this week. I'm gonna play him unless I have no better options, and unfortunately, you've got great options, Brandon. So I will play with Saquon, Javonte, and Gibson. So I'm picking those three guys. I'm going to sit Gaskin and Henderson. Gaskin's been good, but he's been banged up. I think Gaskin has one of the best matchups, but and he's going to be very much chalk in DraftKings and DFS. Same with James Robinson. James Robinson, I haven't had any questions about him, but he's a start. People love him this week. Yeah, those are the three running backs. You've got a great team. I do believe that Gaskin might be safer than Gaskin might be safer than Saquon, but Saquon has the upside. Daniel, what's going on, Daniel? Hello. Craig Reynolds or Chuba Hubbard? No PPR. I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard. I don't. Craig Reynolds is a guy, we didn't know his name until last week, so I'm going to go with Chuba. April, is Lamar playing today? I know Mac already maybe answered your question. I'm not expecting Lamar Jackson to play. So I know that the ESPN and Yahoo have projections differently. I think they're just not quite caught up yet. They're hedging a little bit. One platform has him projected to play and one has him projected out. I'm expecting him to be out. So you should be, if you made it, well, I guess last week he put up or when he was active, he put up a dud, but hopefully you're in the playoffs despite having him in your lineup. I prepare to have him out. So other good quarterbacks that you can start despite Lamar beating out. Taysom Hill's in a good spot. Tua Tagovailoa. If for some reason I doubt Kirk Cousins is on your waiver wire, I would start Kirk Cousins. Some of those guys. Jimmy Garoppolo, you can consider starting over him. You got to be very careful with Jalen Hurts having that ankle injury. Hopefully, Gardner Minshew's on your waiver wire. If you have to rely on Jalen Hurts, I think he should play, but there is a chance that he doesn't. TTJH, I'm going to go OBJ over Marquis Brown. Yep, I like that option. Not only both players seem to be trending in different directions, but no Lamar Jackson for Brown makes it easy decision. I agree. That's a very easy decision for me as well. Marquis Brown has also been banged up this week. So gives me every reason to sit down Marquise Hollywood Brown. I'm not going to play him. I'm not going to play him at all. Kyle, has Gronk or Robinson for the flex? Holy man. That is the question of the week, because usually 99% of the time, my dude, you are going to start a running back over a tight end. However, you picked my number 3 ranked tight end who likes to have big, massive performances. And then we have James Robinson, who is now without Urban Meyer and is projected to get every carry in the backfield and back to his former self, that guy that we saw early in the year, all last year, win people championships because he was a waiver wire ad. So I have Robinson fairly high. I have a lot of confidence in James Robinson, and he plays the Houston Texans. Holy man. So if that is a standard league, I'm going Robinson. If it's a full PPR league, I'm going Gronk. If it's a half PPR league, flip a coin and hope that Gronk gets in the end zone. He's been on fire. I think I might start Gronk over Robinson and go from there. That's a tough one, man. That's a really tough one. So I think the floor play probably is with Robinson because you know he's going to get the guaranteed work, where Gronk should get the work, but heck, he's got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to throw to. Leonard Fournette of the backfield. Like, it's possible that the targets that Gronk does get are either fingertips away, a good defensive play. I think the floor play is still Robinson. He still has upside. So I think depending on what you're up against, Kyle, if you're up against a big game or if you had a guy bust on the other player's team and you just need a floor, a good solid play with a 12-point floor, go James Robinson. I like James Robinson without Urban Meyer this week. He should be getting some good work. Stuart, killing me as an Eagles fan makes sense, though. Cheers, man. Hope Sanders pulls it out for you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's 5 p.m. there. Thanks for coming by. We have people watching from all over the world. Thanks for coming by, guys. Appreciate you. Good luck. I hope Miles Sanders comes through for me as well. So, April, she's got James Conner or Michael Carter. James Conner is one. I'm glad we brought up James Conner because Scotty has James Conner, and I know he's probably worried about him because he got hurt on one of the last plays of the game. So, he is questionable to play. He's expected to play, but so is Chase Edmonds now. So, the Arizona Cardinals have a great, easy matchup. Play the Detroit Lions. They might not need James Conner in this game. Why wouldn't they just save James Conner, who's been phenomenal for them for the playoff run? And now that Michael Carter's back, he should be getting the majority of the workload. Granted, a bad Jets team, a very bad Jets team, but I do think that it's going to be a decently competitive game. I think the Jets are going to be fine, and Michael Carter looked great early in the season, so keep up to date with the news. Understand like sitting down James Conner might be super difficult because of how good he's been winning you weeks by himself, but if you're concerned with his injury, and I'm a little bit concerned with his injury, I would play Michael Carter. If the news comes out, and I'll keep Twitter refreshed here, if he's going to be a full go, we expected to get the same bulk of carries, then it's going to be James Conner. If you're a James Conner owner, you probably need him to score a touchdown in the first quarter of the game. If he doesn't score in the first quarter, if he has like 4 fantasy points, and likely the Cardinals are going to be up 21-7 maybe by then, or 14-3, you might be in trouble because James Conner might get more breaks. He's likely going to be worked in the first few drives, and he needs to score those first few drives for him to have a decent game, because I think it's going to be one of those that tapers off, and he's not going to be used in the second half, fourth quarter. But hey, you never know. That's the game script I could see in my head going forward. It's possible that it's competitive. It's possible that they still rely on him. He's fully healthy, and they need him to score and be that guy he's been for the past few games with Chase Edmonds out. But I think James Conner's floor is lower than we would want to see. Matt giving us a $2.79 tip. Thanks for holding the stream down. Drop a like. Everyone drop a like. We have 23 likes. Mac, thank you for the tip. 15 people watching. Drop a like. We get to every single question. I see you, Julian. We'll be coming to you. Blair in the chat. Thanks for coming by, Blair. Brian, thanks for coming by, everyone. Let's see here. So now I'm at Claire, my favorite girl, Claire Moscow, always in the chat, coming through. Thanks for sending us that picture of the game. Hopefully you enjoyed the Chargers game last week. We very much appreciate coming by every week. You said you're here to help with the players we don't trust. So here's a kicker question. I'm a little scared after getting 1 point from Gano, Elliott, the Eagles, or suck up from the Bucks rest of season. So, Claire, my number one thing with kickers is going to be where are they playing? They're playing in a dome this week. Are they playing outside? Right now, the elements come into effect. I mean, not in California where you are, but in the north, we get the elements. So I do like suck up quite a bit this week, and obviously the Bucks have no problem scoring points. So the Jake Elliott, I think this is going to be in Philadelphia as well. I can bring up some Philadelphia weather. Oh, my Graham is calling me. Sorry, Graham, I can't talk right now. I'm live on YouTube. Philly weather report. Eagles. So that's where I'm going to look for. So it's mostly high of 42, low of 31. The weather report for the stadium is going to be, so tomorrow, Tuesday, it's going to be overcast, high of 44 degrees Fahrenheit. So it looks okay. I'm not too concerned with the weather there. There is a chance that game doesn't happen, I guess, is the final thing, is that game got postponed till Tuesday, right? And and we're not sure if that game indeed happens. I guess I can confirm. All these games being postponed. I'm kind of, it's Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if I almost would rather just take the points with Suck Up in the Bucks. As far as rest of season, I think play the warm weather. I don't know how many cold weather games the Bucks have off the top of my head, but we can talk in the Discord and figure something out. I don't necessarily always leave a kicker in no matter what. Especially even if Suck Up scores you 16 fantasy points, I'm not going to just leave him in no matter what. If it's a windy game or a weather game, you got to take him out regardless of, like, Gano's been great, Gano's been terrible. So I don't mind getting him out of the lineup because he gave you 1 point. Elliott's one of the best kickers in the league, but it is a weather game. I do trust the weather in Tampa Bay a little bit more. So, Claire, thank you for the question. I appreciate the gross question. So TTJH shot the OBJ analysis while waiting in line at the grocery store. Cashier shot me a dirty look for holding up the social distance line. Hey, man, no problem. It's all good. I appreciate you coming by, as always. TTJH is always in the comments, always has a really good analysis. Hey, you could do this job if you wanted to, my dude. Brian, Josh Allen or Tua? So that's also a good question, and you got to think about the injury that Josh Allen had. I do think he's going to have a really good game. It's going to be a game where Josh Allen needs to prove a point that the Buffalo Bills are the real deal, and Josh Allen, I think, is going to come out and throw like crazy versus the Carolina Panthers. I do lean Josh Allen despite the ankle injury. I think they're going to come out and prove a point this week. That's narrative street. I get it, but I think, Brian, that's where you got to go. Tua has a great matchup. Tua's been good, but Josh Allen could have you 4 or 5 touchdowns alone. And Tua just doesn't quite have that in his range of outcomes, even against the Jets. So, Blair, do you still go Sony with Henderson activated or over Wilson or Miles Sanders? So, I'm willing to sit Sony Michel down for Miles Sanders. I brought Miles Sanders out earlier. He had an ankle injury. He's been banged up, but I do think he has a very good opportunity versus a banged-up Washington football team. Blair, if you need a big game, I think Miles Sanders does have it in him. He looks great when he's healthy. The issue is the ankle injuries, the hamstring injuries, all these injuries for Miles Sanders. Hopefully he's fully healthy, and he's the guy. I'm crossing my fingers for that one. Blair's also asking, Diggs, Deontay Johnson, Godwin, or Patterson pick 2. Oh, man. Can I flex some of those guys? You have some of the best wide receivers out there with those options. Okay, Zane Gonzalez out for today's game in Buffalo. Panthers kicker. Oh, interesting. So my rankings will say Deontay Johnson, I think you got to start. Chris Godwin, you got to start as well. So, I mean, it's crazy to sit Diggs, but Deontay, for me, I have him ranked very high, and same with Chris Godwin. So, wild to think my start 2 is those 2 guys. I don't blame you if you cannot sit Diggs down, because you probably picked Diggs the first out of those guys in your draft, what feels like a long time ago. Daniel, Marquis Brown or Rashad Bateman? Oh, man. I see, that's the thing. I would try to sit Marquis Brown any chance I got, but you're asking me the same game. I don't want to play a Buff or a Raven right now with Huntley at quarterback. Yes, he was fine with limited work, but I don't want to trust a Raven right now with a backup quarterback in. I think you still got to play Hollywood Brown over Bateman, though. I like Bateman. He's a great rookie. He's got upside, but he's still the secondary, or probably the third option behind Andrews number 1, Brown number 2, and then Bateman's the third guy. So I don't love it, so I would go with Hollywood Brown as the number 2 option for the Ravens in Baltimore. Julian, what's going on, Julian? Hey, bro, should I go out by starting Matt Stafford or quarterback or one off the waiver wire? I would start Matt Stafford against Seattle. Seattle's a good defense, so start Matt Stafford. If you somehow have Dak Prescott on waivers, I would start Dak Prescott, but I doubt it. So I'm not going to start like a Tua or Taysom Hill over Matt Stafford this week, Julian. So that's what I would go with. Shino B, Saquon or Reynolds, Standard League. Saquon. Start Saquon, my dude. You got to start Saquon over Craig Reynolds. TTJH coming in with another comment. I dropped Sony for Rashad Penny after Penny was dropped on Friday. Yes, sir. Loves it. Love it here. He looks to be a better emergency insurance piece now than the Rams backfield has been a quagmire. Hey, excellent terminology. I love that. I agree. Completely agree. Go with Rashad Penny. Not Rashad Bateman. Rashad Penny over Sony Michel. I'm going to have a quick drink of coffee. Make sure the 14 people that are liking to like this video, sub to the channel if you can. We have rankings videos coming out. Hopefully you tuned in to those rankings videos. We're giving away a few things here. We're giving away a signed Dalvin Cook jersey to one of our Snap Army members. Now, the guys in there right now have an advantage over you, but you can still win a signed Dalvin Cook jersey if you're a Snap Army member. You get rankings every single week. We get a live stream, a private stream that we answer your questions about your teams, and maybe the playoffs are more important to you now, so you can only spend $5 a month for the next couple months. Blair, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Blair. Appreciate you very, very much. What I was saying, you can join the Snap Army for $5 a month, and you can be a part of our private Discord server where we have private chats, adult chats, grown-up chats in the private Discord server. You have a private stream where we answer all your questions, personal questions about your teams, your playoff races, anything you want. And then you also get the rankings every single week that we provide to you. You get to use those fun emojis. I'll give you priority on the list, and you get shoutouts in the streams every single week. But if you don't want to pay money, you can leave a rating review on Apple Podcasts. If there's something on Spotify that we can do, you do that. Go ahead. Give us a rating review on Spotify as well if you can. And you can win a signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire jersey. We'll be giving that away at the end of the season. All right. I'm going to get back to, we got Sleek, we got BucksRTV, we got JP in the chat, John Michael. Thanks for coming by, guys. And again, appreciate you, Blair. You did not need to do that, but it makes a big difference. It gives us it gives us some motivation to do this every single week when we have generous people like you. And thanks. Yeah, I'm holding it down here on my own. Producer Scott in my ear, hanging it down, and Mac is in the chat as always. All right. Oh yeah, coffee. Quick sip of coffee. It's cold. The coffee's cold. Austin in the chat, Snap Army member. Austin, y'all are a bunch of beauties. Appreciate you. Hope you like the Snap community. We've grown, and you're enjoying this chat. Mace 1, Melvin Gordon or Michael Carter. I'm going to go Melvin Gordon. It's hard to sit down Melvin when he's healthy. You see him getting the work. He got 65% of the carries last week. He got a couple touchdowns. I think you keep riding the Melvin Gordon train. He proved me wrong this year. I thought he was going to be kind of a bust, and Javonte Williams was going to take over that backfield. I was right about Javonte being an absolute stud. However, I was wrong about Melvin losing it all. He's been very, very good for your fantasy teams this year. So I will start Melvin Gordon over Mike Carter his first week back. I do like Mike Carter. I think he's going to be fine, but I think Melvin Gordon is just too good this year. John Michael, Brandon Cooks, or Jamar Chase. John Michael, if you're still around, I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is one of my top wide receivers. He's my number 11 wide receiver this week against Denver. Jamar Chase is a great play. TTJH, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Again, I appreciate the interaction every single week. TTJH, I know you're in every single comment. Thanks again. Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. This is the time of year that we, whether you're in it or not, you're still in the chat. You're in the Snap Army community. This is and I appreciate it if it's a thank you for being here all season. We've gone 17 weeks now, 17 weeks of doing live streams for you every single week. So, yeah, thank you so much. Unnecessary, but we very much appreciate it. I mean, this is, I guess, week 15. We've been doing it for a long time. JP, Burrow or Kirk Cousins, full PPR. I'm going Kirk Cousins, and that's going to make Scotty smile. I can hear it even though he's not talking. I'm going Kirk Cousins against Chicago. It's a great spot for Kirk Cousins. Joe Burrow is outside of my top 12 this week in a kind of a tough matchup against Denver. He relies on efficiency rather than volume because they do run the ball a lot. That Denver game against the Bengals, people say it's going to be a fast, if you run the game, it's going to be a slow game, but that's going to actually be a fast game. Both teams are going to run the crap out of the ball, and that's going to speed up the clock. We like incompletions, right? When guys go out of bounds, it stops the clock. More opportunity for fantasy points. So that game's going to be fast because they're going to run the ball a ton. So that leads to less opportunities for Joe Burrow to throw the football. So I'm going to go Kirk Cousins in a full PPR league. Buckstar TV got Zeke, Saquon, Connor, Jacobs, pick 2. Oh man, that's a tricky one here. That's a very tricky one because. So, out of that list, I think because you have such good options, I'm willing to sit Connor because of his injury concern. And because you have Zeke there to fill in a pretty good spot, I'm willing to sit Connor in case he's limited. Because although if you need a big game from Connor, and you don't have very good options, hey, start him, close your eyes. Hopefully he's healthy and good the entire game and plays the entire game. Great. But because you have such good other options, I think Zeke presents a safer floor. And Saquon, so I'm going to start Zeke out of that option. And then between Saquon and Jacobs, it's close. But I think I just go with, if you need a bigger game, Saquon. If you need a safer game, you go Jacobs. I know I'm hedging a little bit, Bucks are, but Jacobs has been very safe. He's got a good matchup against a banged up team. But it's hard for me to go away from Saquon in a competitive game versus Dallas. I know Saquon's burned you. If you don't want to get burned again by Saquon, then go with Josh Jacobs. So it's close. It's close. JP is also asking Devonta Smith, Kirk Cousins, or Christian Kirk, or Darnell Mooney. Full PPR pick 1. Oh man. So we're not going to be sure if Jalen Hurts plays this weekend against Washington. If he does play, it's a great matchup. Washington is full of COVID IR lists. They're full of injuries. And I think that would lead me to Devonta Smith. However, if you're concerned with that, we've got Christian Kirk and Darnell Mooney both with good matchups. The Vikings defense is amazing to pick on and start players against. So I think, man, Darnell Mooney's in a good spot. And I think Allen Robinson is out on COVID IR as well. Oh, man. I don't know. I got to figure out these rankings and see where I would go. So we'll assume half PPR. In a half PPR league, I would lean Darnell Mooney by a little bit on Monday night. And the reason being is going to be because Detroit, they might not need Christian Kirk. Yes, he could have a big catch for a touchdown, and we've seen that happen a ton of times. They're super close. Like, they're essentially back-to-back in my rankings. So, flip a coin between Kirk and Darnell. Oh, sorry, full. You said full PPR. I assumed half, but if I go full, I can see what I have them projected for. Yeah, still. I mean, they're basically the same. Darnell Mooney should have more targets. So that should lead to hopefully more fantasy points. But Christian Kirk could have the big game. Man, JP, that's a tough one. Hopefully you oh yeah, so I see you there now. You're asking again. So, or Tony Pollard. I'm good saying Tony Pollard. That doesn't really change my opinion that much. Full PPR. Sorry, JP. So yeah. So I'll get to Austin because Austin is a Snap Army member. So I did say what's up to you, but I did not go to your question. Played against Kelsey. Sorry, buddy. I hate to see it. Need upside. Standard league. Boring. Yeah, I know. Carter, AJ Green, or Van Jefferson. So in a standard league, doesn't matter with receptions. The biggest opportunity, it was going to be Van Jefferson if Odell Beckham was out. But with Odell Beckham in, it does bring down his ceiling a little bit. I could see a big bomb touchdown from Van Jefferson. We've seen that before. So I think it's Carter. I think it's Carter out of that list in a standard league, Austin. I know it's not upside. Man, oh man, they could all get a touchdown. All three of those players could get a touchdown. The one that gets 2 touchdowns, I think, could be Carter. So that's where I lean. So I do agree that AJ Green and Van Jefferson have a higher chance of getting 1 touchdown. Get this. All right, here's my galaxy brain. You hear? Awesome. Best chance of getting 1 touchdown, AJ Green, Van Jefferson. The best chance of getting 2 touchdowns have to be Michael Carter, because that's where I see the game script happen, where I don't see AJ Green getting 2, neither Van Jefferson. It's going to be the other guys in that offense. It could be Ertz. It could be Rondell. It could be James Conner, of course. And then on the other side, for LA, it could be one of the 2, Henderson or Sony Michel. And then we could easily have Cooper Kupp do Cooper Kupp things and get 2 touchdowns. So, but Michael Carter is going to be the bell cow likely of that offense. Yes, it's the Jets, so the chances of him getting 0 touchdowns is good because they're the Jets. But I think the chance of getting 2 are greater than those other 2. So, Austin, thank you for waiting. You are a Snap Army member, and I appreciate you. You should have came first, but you have to wait a little bit. But either way, I know you're a good guy and understand. Let's see here. Again, shout out to Blair and TTJH for the very generous donations. Sleek, always coming in. Sleek, thanks for coming by. Full PPR, he's got Miles Sanders or Devonta Freeman. Thoughts on playing McLaurin? I do not want to play Terry McLaurin. No chance. Don't want to play him. I know he's a stud. I know you drafted him high. Do not want to play Terry McLaurin. I'm sitting him down. I don't even think he plays, and you have to wait until Tuesday. So I'm gonna sit him down. So I think Freeman has. So I'm just getting producer Scott doing his job, saying that Terry McLaurin got a full practice. So okay, so I do think Terry McLaurin. I guess he plays. That surprises me. It was a concussion. It looked pretty bad, but concussions are, I guess, weird and different. I didn't think he was going to play, but obviously it looks like he will. Terry McLaurin is, I guess, the still high upside play because he's the best player on the field. He's a stud wide receiver. Any other team, he's going to be locked and loaded week in and week out. But for the Washington football team, he has been very disappointing. He's still that he could catch a 70-yard bomb, no question, what have you, but Terry McLaurin is the guy I'm just willing to sit down. He's burned me too much. But as far as Devonta Freeman, he presents a safer floor than Miles Sanders because Miles Sanders seems to get an ankle injury every single week. He plays 2 quarters, gets an ankle injury. If he finishes the game, he's a stud. So, floor for Devonta Freeman. Ceiling, I still think, is Miles Sanders. If he plays the entire game, it's a great matchup. So, and he'll get some targets out of the backfield. He will have to share a little bit of work with now Jordan Howard coming back, Boston Scott still there. The rookie, its name's escaping me right now. But yeah, so I think the floor play is Devonta Freeman. And if you need a big game, of course, yeah, Terry McLaurin is there. But between Terry McLaurin and Miles Sanders for like a flex position, shoot, I guess Terry for the upside. Yeah, even after me saying that, I'm not playing him. Full PPR. Thanks. Oh, yes. Yeah. Buckstar, full PPR for your question. Thank you. Buckstar, building off the question. Then Josh Jacobs, Connor Henderson, or Renfro for my flex. Full PPR. I think, you got Renfro, full PPR? Just go Renfro. Renfro's a stud. That guy's great. And in a full PPR league, he'll get you more fantasy points. So I like Renfro. Renfro, Jacobs, Connor, Henderson in that order. Mace 1, and you're welcome, JP. Galloway, Galladay, Hollywood. Shoot, that's gross. Mace 1, that is gross. I don't like that question at all. Because I don't want to start Kenny Galladay. He's been terrible. And I don't feel comfortable starting Callaway either, or Hollywood Brown. But I guess I lean Hollywood Brown because he's at least decent. I don't know. Let me see here. What Mace 1, while I look at my rankings, what is it, a half PPR or full PPR? I'm going to assume it's just going to be half right now. and help you figure that out. So I'm gonna go half PPR, and Marquis Brown, and then we have Kenny or Callaway or Marquis. I'm going Marquis Brown on that list. Gross. Plug your nose and enjoy. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully Lamar somehow magically plays. All right, guys. One of the last questions, we have Jimmy G or Burrow QB1. Jimmy G or Joe Burrow. That's tough because I mentioned earlier on, Austin Grant, that I believe that to be a very fast game, meaning they're going to run the ball a ton, which means less opportunities for Joe Burrow to pass the football. I do think that Jimmy Garoppolo is a good play this week against Atlanta. The San Francisco defense is banged up. So I think Atlanta could keep it competitive. Although they're a bad team, they could keep it competitive. And Jimmy Garoppolo's a good play. So I think I kind of lean Jimmy Garoppolo by a hair. They're very, very close in my lineup. I do like Joe Burrow as a talent. He's a better player than Jimmy Garoppolo, but in a fast-paced game, which means they're going to run the ball, keep the clock going, that Denver game is going to be a little bit of a slog. So, Jimmy Garoppolo by a hair. If you want to go on talent alone, go Joe Burrow. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for us. It's 20 minutes till kickoff, and I got to set my lineups. So hopefully everyone has a good time. If you want to keep the conversation going, join our Discord. We have a game day chat, and we can interact on there and cheer and cry together in the Discord as well. If you're not a part of it, join our Discord. Mac and I are in there a little bit. If you want to make sure and talk to us more privately, join our Snap Army. That's where to go to get more interactions with Mac and myself. Good luck, everyone. I hope everyone has the best of luck this week and your players do well and you make it to the second round of the playoffs. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Make sure to stay tuned